What's
Episode
good, King?
79, Brownsville, Brooklyn's finest government official. Low life soldier, DV Alias Khryst in the fucking building. What's good, man?
What's good, King?
Yo, this is a pleasure. This is long overdue. We chopped it up a couple times on the phone, but I'm glad we're doing this. And so
Yeah.
thank you for joining us.
Nah, shit. Thank you for having me. Word.
Of course, of course. A couple things real quick. If you guys got questions for DV, please use the questions feature below. It has a question mark. That way I can pull it up and we can discuss
Those
it.
I see you, King. What's going on, my genius?
Yeah, look at the people up in here. Big up. Yeah, those are the drum dealer. And yeah, don't get on any fuck shit in the comments or I'll block you. So that's all. So you know how it is, man. So this is a pleasure for me, man, because you've been around for a minute and like, but I saw a build you had with Eclipse, and it's like it echoes some of the same sentiment. I was thinking like, I see you and I didn't see you, and I see you, I didn't see you, and stuff like that. So
Right.
honestly, man, like I really respect your music, respect your style, respect a lot of things about you, and so I really want to take this time to like, give you your flowers for carving out your lane in this shit and being a part of this shit for so long, and we're gonna get into all that, and B for I want to take this time for you to really share your story. You know what I'm saying? As we get through this, so I think that's important. So I just wanted to share that first before we set it off.
Um, my story is long as fuck.
Well, let's go back. I mean, I'll lead you. I always like to know, you know what I'm saying, as far as where cats are from in terms of how they grew up. That's always just some intriguing shit to me. So let's
Right.
go back to Brownsville. You know what I'm saying? Let's go back to Brownsville as a young lad.
Yeah, Brownsville. My first introduction to the hood, because we were on Strauss and Saratoga. We lived across the park from my grandmother, and then we wound up moving up the hill to Herkimer. We was on Herkimer between Gunther and Marconi. And that block that I lived on, there was a set of individuals called GP, which is Gunther Posse, and they was pretty ruthless on my block. Like, I would look out the window and I would see niggas like Hawk, you know what I'm saying? They used to run with Big Daddy Kane and all these niggas would be on my block, you know what I'm saying? Like, it would look like a paid in full a video shoot or some shit, like just like niggas was getting money on my block.
This was like when, like, put in perspective as far as year-wise.
This was like 80, this was like 87, 88.
Oh, prime heyday.
Like between 86 and 88.
Oh, that's the Get Money era right there. That's
Yeah.
prime Get Money.
Yeah, niggas was wearing Guess jean suits and shit, and the New Balance, the 574s and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Like when?
Yeah, Damage and, like Carl Canal just broke on the scene, like after the 88, like 89, 90 shit, then this shit got hot. But yeah, man, like, so my block had beef with a lot of niggas, so it wasn't too far you could actually go, unless you just fucked with just different niggas, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I just got along with everybody, and then my junior high school, 271, everybody that was rivals to niggas on my block went to my school, but I wound up being cool with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Just by default.
Right.
So, long story short, I decided to go to the park because I just got my flat top all shaped up, and my man Merv let me hold his Polo Goose, the yellow with the blue and the Polo USA going down the arm.
Yep.
I was feeling myself. So I said, I'm going to go to the park and see if there's some chicks in the park. So I go to the park and I see three niggas dancing in Dapper Dan, Gucci velour suits. And I'm standing there and I'm looking, because I was on some dancing shit, hard body too. So I'm looking and I'm like, Yeah, I'm like, who the fuck is that? So lo and behold, it was Smooth Trigger and they boy Gotti dancing in the park. So later, the next day I went to school, I see Trigger, sitting on the bleachers with some chicks. So I walk over to him and, I said, yo, man, I seen you and some dudes dancing in the park. He's like, yeah, it's my brother and my cousin. I said, yeah, I remember them steps. He said, let me see. So I did them shits. Dong, 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 dong. He get off the bleachers and did the shits with me. And it was like if we knew each other for years, how syncopated we was. The dance teacher that was in the gymnasium, her name was Miss Baker, God bless the dead. She paired me and him together to choreograph a 60 class, a 60 group class of dancers for a tournament in IS 275. And we choreographed the steps and won first place, and that was the birth of me and Trigger's relationship.
Yo. So there's a couple things there. One, it's always wonderful to hear when cats, you know what I'm saying? Because when we think hip hop now, even me automatically, we think rap music. We just do,
Right.
right? And when we understand, I mean, our shit is carrying the culture, so it's important that like a lot of cats came up in this shit. I came in as a b-boy. I came in dancing. A lot of cats came in as dancers, graffiti writers, DJs, doing other shit. And so I think it's dope that you highlighted that. You know what I'm saying? That Trigger these
Oh yeah,
cats,
we
like
were
that's dope.
definitely a part of all the elements. I mean, for myself, like I did graffiti and I got busy with that shit too. So I literally been a part of all the elements except for DJing. I tried, but I was just like, I ain't had the patience for that
Me neither.
shit.
Me neither. The
I
learning
said,
curve is too.
fuck
That
all of
learning curve
this
for
shit.
DJing is fucking hard, man.
Yeah, I did, for me, and plus, my moms knew better than to buy me that equipment because I'd have drove everybody fucking crazy. So what she did was she bought me this radio. It's crazy because I had a one up on everybody because none of my niggas had a radio in their room. I had a radio. She bought me a radio that had 2 tape decks on it and a turntable, and that's how I got hip to Mr. Magic and Stretch and Barbito. So I
Word.
was taping all of that shit and remembering niggas raps and going to school and kicking them shits in school. you, you know what I'm saying? Like I
Of
was kicking
course.
shit in school. Niggas thought it was mine, but I was hearing all the exclusive shit because none of my niggas had radios in their room. Like
Yes.
no, like I was the only nigga on my block with radio.
This nigga was
So I
Nas
had the
for a minute.
advantage. I was Nas like a motherfucker. Nigga, I was burning niggas with his raps,
Who else
uh,
was you?
cellar dwellers. I was all them niggas. But you know what? Like that was in my dancing phases. Like I wasn't even on no rap shit like that. I was straight dancing, getting busy. Like me smooth and Trigger, like we was deadly. Then we formed a larger set of niggas called the Guest Riders, which encompassed my brother, my cousin, and then a few of our other homies from Atlanta. And then we joined some shit called the All Star Talent Show, and we was winning first place every fucking time we danced. But our shit was hood, cause it was like picture Wu-Tang on some dancing shit. It's like
Right. That's what I'm thinking.
20
That's what's
niggas.
going through my mind right now. Because
Yo,
I'm
my
like,
nigga, it was like 20 niggas on the stage, 20, 30 niggas. And then we doing our dance routines, doing like jitterbugging and aerodynamic shit mixed with like street dancing. And motherfuckers was like, they was thinking we was gonna drop each other on our fucking heads because all of the shit. We was throwing each other over each other's shoulders and doing all kind of crazy shit. So one day, Smooth decided to implement, because he always was nice with the rapping. Smooth been nice since 10 years old. I swear to God, Smooth was nice since, I knew that nigga since he was 10. Like that nigga always been nice. I swear to you. So he decided that he wanted to pick up the mic in one of the talent show performances that we did. So we danced, and he grabbed the mic and rapped while we danced behind him, and we killed it. We wanted to win the first place in the dance and in the rap, and it caused a riot. We fucking niggas up and all kind of shit because niggas was mad that we won in both categories. Smooth caught the bug and was like, you know what? I ain't dancing no more. I'm rapping. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, we at the top of our game. What are you talking about? You not dancing no more? So Trig was like, well, fuck it. I ain't dancing no more either. And I'm like, oh, you niggas is killing me because I'm like, I'm not no fucking rapper. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about? Someone was like, nah, look, I'm going to write you and Trig a rap. And then I'm going to show y'all niggas. And then y'all write your own shit. And let me see what, like, he always was like testing to see, you know,
Right.
how skillful niggas was. So he wrote our first rap.
This was like middle school, high school. When was this roughly?
Yeah, this is middle school.
Okay, like
So
13, 14?
yeah. So I was 13 at the time. Yeah, 13. So he wrote my shit. I kind of, cause I always listened to rap. I was a video fanatic as a kid. So I watched videos all fucking day. Hot Tracks, you know, U62, you know, the U channel and shit.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I was on it, you know what I'm saying? Cause my moms didn't really let me fuck with outside like that till I was a teenager. You know what I'm saying? So I was already hip to the rhythm patterns. So I was like, all right, cool. So I wrote my first rap. And my shit was like, what I said was like, carry the hot sauce over the table. I never lost because I call it a fable. So as to label myself as the guardian of funk, I'm like the gravy without the lumps and the humps because I'm as smooth as a cool breeze. So get in your hands and knees. I'm like a bee. I stung you with my lyrical tongue so you swung and you missed. Some shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Ah,
So I
ah,
took that shit to Smooth. And
ah.
that nigga lost
I
his
see the
fucking
I see the
mind.
oranges. I see the oranges right there
Yeah.
already.
Yo, he was going crazy. And what that, when he went crazy like that, him and Trey went crazy. I was like, I caught the bug. So one day, I just like, cause we all would have writing sessions in my brother crib on Pacific Street. We was, you know, we was a group called the Ruckus. It was Smooth the Hustler and the Ruckus. You know, we was like the junior mafia, quote unquote. So sometimes I had a hard time with writing around niggas, so I would go upstairs in my brother's room and write my raps separately and come downstairs and kick my shit. So one day I decided, you know, let me, you know, because this is around Ill and Out Scratch and, you know, all that shit that was out at the time. And I was like, you know what? I should sing my fucking rap. And I sang my shit and I came downstairs and I kicked it for niggas and everybody was looking at me like I was a fucking alien. And at that point, I didn't know if I did something right or wrong. So now we go down to audition for DR period because DR was like the Quincy Jones of the fucking hood. Everybody, if you wanted to get on, most cases you had to fuck with him. You know what I'm saying? So we go down and we audition for him and he loved it. He loved what the fuck we did. We had our little 2 songs, Footsteps and City Where the Sun Don't Shine. Smooth helped us with the hook for City Where the Sun Don't Shine. And I think me and Trey came up with Footsteps hook. But then so fast forward, I'm in my brother crib. I got DR numbers and I called him because I had an idea for a remix for Footsteps. So I'm singing this shit to him over the phone, and he was like, cut me off in mid-sentence. It was like, yo, that shit you was doing at the studio, that should be your style. I was like, word? I'm like, I don't know, because, you know, singing get frowned upon at this stage of the game. So me trying to sing and
Real
rap,
quick, especially during that time, son.
yeah, I'm like, you trying to get me killed. You know what I'm saying? This is like KRS-One throwing PM Dawn off the fucking stage and shit. You know what
son.
I'm saying? So I'm thinking like that. I'm like, I don't know, DR. Like, he's like, trust me, come down to the studio and, you know, come fuck with me. So I hesitated because, you know, we was selling drugs big time in the streets. So we was getting money. And I really wasn't trying to hear too much of that shit too much at first. And then, the spot got, one day he told me to come down to the studio, and I went, and when I went, the spot got raided. And I was like, oh shit. So I was like, look, man, this shit fucking up my bread. That nigga was like, yo, look, you come down to the studio, you go to school, you come down to the studio, I'll take care of you. I'll look out for you. And nigga would give me 200 like every week for my pocket. I went to school. I come down to the studio. Sometimes I sleep in the studio because I lived on my own since I was 15. So I had my own apartment in the pink houses at like 14, 15 years old. So I was taking myself to school like I was a grown-ass man at 15. So I didn't have to worry about if I slept in the studio or not. My mom's lived in Queens. I was in Brooklyn. So she wasn't telling me what the fuck to do. Like, I was doing what I wanted. So I'm sleeping in the studio. I'm watching this nigga make every beat you could think of. I saw him make every fucking beat for anybody, from MOP to fucking what's that record he did for AZ and Nas? I mean AZ and Nas.
Oh, I forgot
Yeah,
the name of it. I know the one you're
more
talking
money,
about.
more money, more
I know the one
homicide.
you're talking about.
I
Dion
watched.
Perry paid you to go to school and go to the studio.
Yeah. He looked out for me because he didn't want me to keep going to sell drugs. He was like, yo, you got a talent. Like, you know, I'm gonna hold you down. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was like, all right, cool. You know, I ain't tell Smooth Trick nobody. I was just trying to find my way. And fast forward now, we working on Smooth album. And we driving down to the studio to record, you know, some joints for Smooth album, and we listening to Faith, No Other Love. Do 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 do. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
I had a song that I wrote called Ghetto. Ghetto, I can't be going nowhere. I'm trapped in the ghetto. The ghetto. You know what I'm saying? And there was a part in my song where I'm like, think to yourself how it would be without the dollar bill, y'all. You fall against the line of pray, I say. You know what I'm saying? And we kept singing that over that beat going down to the studio. So we sang the concept to DR, and D was like, that's hot. And he made the beat for Dollar Bill. So now this is where the rap singing shit started to come into play for me, because this is that time, you know, like you could punch in and punch out. So
Right.
he like, look, you're gonna rap 8 bars and then I'm gonna punch you in and you're gonna sing the other 8. And I'm like, man, what the fuck am I gonna do? I'm like, all right, I ain't want to challenge him. I tried it. And when I heard it back, I was like, this shit sound crazy. Like he was on to something. And he was like, look, trust me, practice this style and you're gonna be a fucking phenomenon.
Damn.
If you learn how to rap and exchange without the punching, and I practiced that shit for months, and he showed me this technique where you put your hand over your nose and your ear. If you do it right now, you can literally hear yourself in your ear through the sound. So that's how I mastered my tone. You know what I'm saying? DR is a fucking genius, I swear. Like this is what the
Wow.
shit he was
Yes.
teaching me, and I was like, all right. And so, you know, now we doing Bus and all these songs, and I'm doing that shit. I'm rapping and I'm stopping and I'm singing and, you know, so still, you know, now, you know, fast forward, I have a deal with Def Jam and they don't understand what the fuck I am. Like, what are you? What are you? Because you cannot sing and rap. You have to choose one or the other. This is what Julie Greenwald had told me. And I don't, and this is not the slander, because, you know, I love Julie, I love Leo. I don't really have nothing bad to say about them. My transition from Def Jam was smooth. I didn't get dropped. I had a loophole in my contract, and Leo gave me some parting cash, and he sent my mom some flowers and said to my mother, I know I'm going to regret letting him out of this fucking contract.
Oh shit.
But in hindsight, he's not going to regret it because it's always greater later. You know what I'm saying? I just felt like being tied into a situation that just had all this dead energy surrounded around it wouldn't have been best for me as an artist. It would have, I felt like going through the bullshit, going independent and just finding my way was just better for me, you know, but I hurdled onto that. But coming back to where I was at initially, they didn't understand what the fuck I was doing. Like because I'm in a marketing meeting and they like, well, tell us about you. I said, well, I'm 5%, I'm God body. And he's like, what the fuck is that? And I'm explaining that to them. And I'm like, well, I have knowledge of self and, I want to speak on matters of the world. And, they looking at me like, this is going to be a problem. Now, meanwhile, and I mean this in all respect, because I'm not anti-Semitic in no type of way. But I'm in a room full of Jews and my name is Christ. It's like, whoa, it's like, what the fuck are we signing here? But, Russell already approved this shit because we done had a dinner with him at Tom's Cafe, over by Broadway Lafayette. And he was he told me in Trigger, he was like, yo, I'm on you guys' dicks. I spit my food out my mouth. I couldn't believe this nigga said this shit. He just say, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
right. So I'm like, whoa. So, Trig asked him, he was like, well, what do you think about Christ? Like his name. He was like, oh, that's fucking amazing. Like that controversy sells, like look at Public Enemy. Like he didn't give a fuck. So, yeah, but I definitely got challenged by Reverend Run. They, Run DMC came down to DR Studio and Run asked me, do you know what Christ means?
Oh shit.
And I said to him, yes, a person with many talents. I just kept it very simple. He said it means the anointed. And I said, well, Christ also means of the dead too. So we having an exchange. I said, just know I understand the cross I'm bearing and I understand the responsibility that I have, with, choosing this name, but it's more metaphorical to who I am as an artist. I'm Christ-like with this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he left me alone. I actually had a running like that with Easy Mo B. I was in Essos and he grabbed me by my arm and shit and was like, why you call yourself Christ?
Word.
Word. I wonder if he remember that shit. I forgot what I said to him because we was in passing to go on stage and shit, but yeah, man. I have a very long, extensive.
I know that's why I wanted to have you on. So, and people need to understand this because here's the thing, our culture, our hip hop shit, is mostly oral, right? It's not, a lot of shit wasn't written down and documented and stuff, and a lot of our people are passing, and there's a lot of people that were a part of this shit that people may not have known, whatever, this and that, to certain degrees, that have stories in this shit were integral parts of this shit. Like Big Twins made the Shook Ones beat happen because Havoc was gonna trash it. Like people don't know that shit. You know what I'm saying? So these are the types of things that people need to hear. So this is important, man. So
I mean, that's crazy you say that about Havoc because Havoc did a track for me on the project when I was signed to Def Jam. Word. And how I got the track from Havoc, it was it's the funniest fucking story ever. So we in a club. I forget what club it was. I think it was SO's. I think it was SO's or the Mirage, right? I'm coming out the club. I've always been a step to my business type of nigga. I don't give a fuck. I'm walking up on you. You know what I'm saying? So I walked up on him and I was like, yo, my name Christ. I want to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was like, yeah, but
When
you know,
was when was this?
this was like 90 shit.
You said you was on Def Jam, right?
Yeah, it was like 96,
Mm.
97,
Mm.
somewhere in there. Between 95 and 97.
All right.
And he looked at me and he was like, well, you know, you gotta have a deal and you know, Foxy out there, and I know Foxy because shit, Foxy came up with Smoothing All of Us. You know what I'm saying? Like she was a part of Ruckus. She was like the little Kim of Ruckus. Her name was AKA at the time, and she wore Pelly Pellies and fucking high tech boots.
Where?
You know what I'm saying? Like she was on some hardcore shit. She wasn't on. She didn't get on that shit till she met Kim. You know what I'm saying? Like she was inspired by Kim, and she
Foxy
started
was always
wearing.
better than Kim to me. I mean,
Yeah,
keep
you
it
know,
funky
she
with you.
started wearing all in one cat suits, Donna Karen cat suits, and cut her hair short, and I was like, okay, but yeah, man. So going back to Havoc, you know, so it was just a lot of niggas out there. I remember that, you know, and Foxy was out there too. And when he said that to me, I was like, well, nah, you know, like, you know, you know, I'm with Smooth the Hustler and Trigger the Gambler. You know, I did, you know, do the hooks and da da da. And I got to deal with Def Jam, nigga. He was like, oh shit, word. I'm like, word. Like, I got a budget and all that, nigga. Like, I'm trying to get a beat. So he was like, all right, cool. You know, when he realized who I was, he saluted. Now I felt good because I ain't had to keep selling myself.
Word.
So now I'm living in Maida because I just bought my mother a house on Maida Road. So you know, I'm in Maida and I called him up and shit and we was chopping it up on the phone for a minute. And we set up a studio session in the cutting room. Shout out to Pat and them in the cutting room. And we in the, I'm walking the room. We got the little room, like just the, you know, the pre-production room.
Mm.
And I hear him in the beat. This shit crazy. This nigga about to press delete. I grabbed his little finger. He got the little fingers. I grabbed that little finger.
Stupid.
I swear I grabbed that little finger. I was like, no, what is you doing, boy? I said, nah, let that shit rock. I said, yo, add a bass line or some shit to that. And he's and that shit just fucking came to life. And I sat there, you know, and he looking at me like, so when you gonna start writing? And I'm like, I am writing. You, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm sitting there, you know, and it's crazy because you hear a lot of people highlight that type of shit. And that was just something that I actually learned from my nigga Ron Record. Because Ron Record was nice with that shit. Like he wrote all his shit off his head. None of his shit he ever wrote down. I'm like, how the fuck you remember it? He was like, yo, you just keep saying it over and over in your head till it makes sense. And I was like, okay. And
Shit.
I learned how to do that shit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting in the studio and he looking at me and I'm like, I got it. And I went in that motherfucker and he was just like, what the fuck? And some of the, you know, the youngsters was there in the studio that night. Prodigy was there, God bless his soul. I think Twin was in there. There was a few niggas. They wasn't really jacking my shit too much because, you know, it was like real guard body type shit I was on. And they was just on their street shit. So Havoc was, I mean, Prodigy really wasn't jacking it. The youngsters wasn't really jacking me too much either because it was just, they was really on some like, you
Yeah.
know,
97
Queensbridge.
youngsters was on some different, you know, yeah, that
Yeah, they
time.
was on some straight street shit. So me, you know, I was in the borderlines of the street shit and Nas. You know, and even at that time, niggas wasn't really jacking Nas too much because he was on that God body shit a bit. And you see he started like souping up the street shit in it. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a difference between going gold and going platinum. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
you come out, you drop Illmatic, you go gold. Biggie come out and go fucking platinum. It's like, all right, I gotta add some more street shit in this to mix it up because I'm going over niggas' heads. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yo,
Me personally, I was like, I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm going over niggas' heads, that's what the fuck it is. And I just always stay true to being on that type of time. Like, catch up, motherfuckers. Like, I'm not here. Listen, you can be wealthy without trying to fucking appease everybody. You get what
facts.
I'm saying?
Yes, the fuck I see that shit.
So for me, like, I've been able to sustain myself, and I've had some bumps in the road, but I've been able to sustain myself for 26 years in this shit because I stood true to what the fuck I do. Now, I veered from the path a little bit pre-G Unit era, when I was doing some work with Dangerous LLC and, because at that point I was just like, well, shit, I'm amongst this situation. I need to take advantage of it and see how I could pivot.
Of course.
But, the God in me knew that I was rebelling, I was rebelling against my actual calling. So none of that shit that I ever tried to do outside of what I do ever fucking worked. And nothing that anybody ever fucking told me to do ever worked. It ain't until I started doing what I needed to do for me that really made me feel fucking good about myself is when shit started fucking working out. And
We can
for
stop
me,
right there.
yeah, I'm like, yeah, all right, cool. I got 10,000 and some odd fucking followers. To certain niggas 20,000 and 50,000, but your blue checks is fake, nigga, and your fan base is fake, and you can't even pack SOBs, motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got all that fluff going on, but niggas ain't coming to the shows. Niggas not buying your fucking merch. You don't have a niche market of niggas that's keeping your fucking lights on. And I'm not just no artist. I'm a fucking executive. I do executive shit behind the scenes that keeps my fucking lights on just so I could do my music whichever fucking way I want to do it. It's different for me. Like, I'm not compromising. I don't give a fuck. So my mother was like, look, you need to find other things. You're very intelligent. Find other things in this business that you could do that will allow you to do whatever the fuck you want to do. So I learned how to mix. I learned how to engineer. Shout out to Nick Wiz. I learned how to read contracts and put contracts together. I learned how to consultate artists, so on and fucking so forth. And I've been doing that for the past 10, 15 years now, just living. So for me, I put out the music. You see the type of singles I be dropping, very unethical, because I don't give a fuck. I'm putting out whatever the fuck I want because I know that it's not about, if you aim to win a Grammy, most cases you won't. But if you don't give a fuck and you create from your heartstrings, you will fuck around and create and be a Tyler the Creator and win a fucking Grammy. So, for me, I feel integrity when it's induced into the music, it creates something that connects to people in a way that's spiritual. I've had people tell me I've changed their lives. I've had brothers cry to me and tell me that shit that I've done impacted who they are as artists. You can't pay for that. Fuck your followers, nigga. I've been verified before Instagram. There was Christ before all this fucking social media. So what the fuck I look like allowing this shit to shape and pivot how the fuck I move or design myself as a man? Suck my dick. I don't give a fuck about none of this shit. I live in my own world. I move on my own dime. And I'm for the people. You never hear me trying to destroy the next nigga, even if his shit is wacky as fuck. Because for me, it's like, all right, let's change the narrative. For me as an artist, because it's easy for me to tear a lot of niggas down to pull myself up. But how many niggas is really getting on for sheer talent? I don't have no fucking gimmick. I've been in a car accident, a very bad one. I didn't have my publicist publicize that shit. I was just in the fucking hospital not too long ago, almost dying from fucking COVID. I didn't put that shit on fucking social media.
Thank you.
The
Thank
fuck is
you.
wrong with niggas, man?
Thank
Like,
you.
I'm going
Photo
to
ops in the
blow.
hospital. Photo ops in the hospital got me dying in 2022,
My
baby.
nigga, listen.
Come on.
I'm going to fucking blow because I'm talented. Period. And there is nobody fucking with me. Period. That's how I'm going to blow. I don't need no fucking gimmick. I don't need none of that. There is nothing anybody doing that I haven't done or can't do. Fuck out of here. There's a reason why you don't see me on a lot of niggas' records. They know better. They know better. Like, come on, bro. Like, I'm not here to speak cocky. I'm here to speak confident on what I bring to the fucking table. I know what I bring to the. I stay in my lane. I don't try to be like nobody but Christ. But you see a lot of niggas trying to be Christ, but then don't want to pay homage. Then want to act like they just stumbled on this shit they doing. Get the fuck out of here. All that shit Kanye and everybody doing, Christ been doing that. I took the sacrifice so niggas could do the shit that they doing. You couldn't sing on records and do the shit that you hear these. Every fucking rap record that came out it got singing on it. I control 65% of the fucking music industry without trying. The game has came to me. What I do is not so foreign any fucking more. It's not so frowned upon.
It's the norm.
Anymore. It's the fucking norm.
It's the norm. I mean, let's keep it a buck. It's the norm. I mean, like
what niggas, you know, I'm gonna keep it a bean with you. Shout out to Batman too. I'm gonna keep it a bean with you though. Niggas is really only surviving off of one frequency that I left. See, when you hear my crew can't go for that, I can pinpoint a few records that's in that same melody range. So when you go, do you wanna take a ride through the hood? Right, then you go, you can find me in St. Louis rolling on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can keep going. And everyone has been in that same octave, has been in that same key range for over 20-some years now. Everybody. So what happens is, it's like when Das Effects came with the bum stiggity. You know, motherfuckers ran it in the dirt to the point that when they did it, it wasn't as cool as it was when they came out of nowhere with it because, you know, niggas abused it. I was smart enough to come up with something because I did not trust these fucking labels. I knew they were going to manufacture me in some kind of way. So I came up with a 1-octave melody style that I knew that if niggas ran with this, I got so many other different colors and so many different octave ranges that I could do that when I present my shit in the full spectrum, it's going to be like, oh, shit. So, yeah, the joke's on you, motherfuckers. You thought that you were going to X me out the game with your Drakes and all your other motherfuckers that you put in these positions, but they all singing on the same key octave range for the past 20-something fucking years. And now it's like everybody's waiting to see what's next. I challenge any one of you niggas, listen to anything from Boogie, any of these melodies, and this is not me frowning upon, this is fucking facts. Everyone is singing in the same key. Juice WRLD, everybody. I challenge anybody right now to go on fucking Spotify and put all these niggas in your playlist. It'll sound like one fucking song.
Of course it does. That's what I say all the time. Of course it does.
So when you don't know the origin of where something came from and you just taking it because you heard somebody else do it, you know, it's what they call trendy. it loses the very fiber, fabric or fibers that, coexist in something that's authentic. Like a Lauryn Hill. If she would have put out more albums, she probably wouldn't be as iconic as she is right now. Why?
Facts.
Because you'd have had mad fucking heifers trying to do the shit she was doing.
Facts.
So you got to understand when the creator is preserving you for that moment. And this is why I've stayed consistent. I've never took a day off in 20-something years in my career. I've never took a day off. I've never not put out anything. I never not featured on anything. I've never took a day off. This is how loyal and trusting that I am to what it is that I know is going to happen. I did it with my niggas a few years ago, and I know what sparked that shit. And it was 100% belief. You could ask them niggas, they'd say, nah, that nigga Khryst, that nigga believes. You can't tell me shit when I believe. You know what I'm saying? Like, once I believe in something, you can tell me, nigga, Scrooge McDuck got a whole barrel of money for you. I don't give a fuck, nigga. I'm staying on what I believe in, and that's what it is.
Thank you.
And that's why I know, and I say this in all due respect, that's why I know in the end, I am going to be triumphant. And I am going to be a unicorn, a novelty in this shit because I stuck to my fucking guns. Period. Like, consistency is one thing, but integrity says a lot. Because the bumps and the fucking bruises that I've took and the things that I've went through, the lies, the deceit, the amount of motherfuckers I thought was my friends and just the bullshit I went through, you never see that in my persona. You never see that in my presentation. I don't come across as some angry nigga, from back in the days looking for a fucking a verbal handout or some type of fucking verbal accolade like I'm owed something. You niggas don't owe me a motherfucking thing. If for as much as I contributed, you never see me online talking about, yeah, I'm a legend and all you niggas, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. I'm here for you to focus on what the fuck I'm doing in current. Fuck what I did in the past. My crew can't go fuck all that shit. Because it's about what I'm doing right now you need to focus on. And how polished I am. And how I'm still able to do this shit and sound good doing it. Look good doing it at 44 years old.
All right.